It's May and everything's starting to grow, and that means free grass and free dandelions for the goats and for the chickens and ducks. Welcome to Self-Sufficient in Suburbia for May 2016. All three of the goats are pregnant and they're due very shortly. In fact, Geraldine, who is the black goat there, she's due now, and she's starting to show some of the signs that she's due any minute now. But we've been waiting for a few days and she's been showing the signs for a few days, so we're still waiting. Pinky here is due at the end of the month, and Georgina is due a few days, a week or so after Geraldine. Now, Pinky we've bred before, but these two we haven't bred, so this is going to be a first for us. Their offspring will be used for meat, and milk. Pinky here is a milking goat, so this will be our supply of milk and cheese and yogurt. And she's still enormously soft animal, aren't you? We bought this little chicken run for the chicks that we've been hatching recently, and it also has a little duckling in there as well. Now it's probably a little bit dark to see it. He's just inside the box. Now sadly he was one egg, the only egg out of a batch of 6 that we put in the incubator that hatched, or at least hatched as a duck, and one of the eggs actually hatched as a chick as well, which wasn't quite meant to happen. So we'd obviously at some point got a duck and a hen egg mixed up, and in fact that's the chick there at the front. But we also bought 4 chicks to go with these 2 little ones here. So in about a month's time they'll be mature enough or big enough to join the rest of the flock. It's late afternoon now, so the bees are relatively quiet because it's a bit cooler now. Last year we ended with 12 hives, but we're down to 7 now, and the problem was that last year the bees put an awful lot of energy into swarming and not very much into honey production, so we ended up with a large number of hives but no honey. And what we're hoping for this year is that we get a reverse of that. We get a good honey crop, but unfortunately we did lose 5 of the hives over the winter, and they were the swarm hives, the swarms that we collected in last year, except for one. One of them has survived. But of the 7 that we've got, 5 are very strong, and I checked them just a couple of days ago, and 5 of the hives, the 5 strong ones, now have supers on. That's the box that goes at the top of the hive, and that's where the honey is stored, and some of those hives were already producing honey and storing it. So hopefully, a bit later this year, we'll get a decent honey crop. This is our herb garden, and as you can see, it seems to have been taken over by nettles. So we're going to pull out the nettles shortly. Now they won't be wasted. Some of these nettles are quite fresh and succulent, so we'll be using them in cooking. But we'll also be drying the remaining nettles, and they will be used as feed for the goats. As you can see, the nettles have also invaded the raspberry bed, so again they'll be coming out to let the raspberries have free rein, but again we'll be drying them off for fodder for the goats. We're in the greenhouse now, and we've got loads of stuff in here which will be ready for planting in the next couple of weeks. The tomatoes here have been grown from seed. We've also bought some as well, and we're setting up a polytunnel in our back garden to grow the tomatoes. Onions are a really important crop for us, so we've got a load of them sprouting here, and as you can see they're coming along really well, so they'll be going up to our vegetable allotment in the next week or so. We always grow lots of runner beans, and again they're now ready for transplanting. French beans there, and cucumbers, and the cucumbers will go over to the polytunnel. We're getting about 20 hen eggs a day, and about 6 to 8 duck eggs typically as well. And on top of that we get about a dozen quail eggs. Now we've actually producing far more eggs than we can consume ourselves, far more than we need even for swapping as well. But we found a farm shop up in a village called High Spen, which is about 4 or 5 kilometres away from where we live. And they take the eggs and they sell them. So it's called the paddock. So if you're in High Spen, hop into there, and it sells all sorts of great foods as well. This is the inside of the quail house. We've got about 25 birds in here, and most of them are now 2 years old, so they're not as productive as they used to be. So we've taken some of their eggs and we've put them into an incubator. See how swollen up her udders are. She's now lactating, and she literally is just maybe hours, maybe a day or so away from giving birth. We're back at the house now. And I said earlier that on a typical day we get about 20 hen eggs at the moment. Today we've had 25, this is them all here. Now we don't just sell them through the paddock farm shop, we have occasional markets that we go to ourselves. We've got one this coming weekend, and that allows us to sell our eggs and our preserves, but at the minute we can't sell any dairy products. Not that we've got any at the moment, but we're expecting to in a few weeks. But we can't sell any of our dairy produce at the moment until we've gone through all the environmental health checks and regulations. So that's on the to-do list, but at the moment we've got plenty of eggs to keep us going. I've come up to the plot that we have at Barley Hill. Now this is just a very small allotment, but we use this one for growing vegetables. Because basically if we try to keep livestock and vegetables on the same patch, it doesn't really work very well. The vegetables don't last long. So on this plot we have just recently put in the potatoes, beans and peas. So this is the just planted out potato bed, and we've got Rooster, King Edwards and Pink Fir apple planted there. We've also been bringing manure up from the goats and the chickens, and we have an endless supply of it, so that's gone onto the bed as well. You won't see very much on this bed, but this is where we've got our broad beans and our peas planted. They only went in about 10 days ago, so they're not yet coming through. This is our spare room, and we don't live lives like normal people do, so our spare room is also an incubation room. So we've got an incubator there, and of course if you look in wardrobes we have things like fruit liqueurs, homemade and waiting to be bottled up, and of course down here we have our brooder box, and we have in here 14 quails. So here they are. They've just been hatched. Some of them hatched about 3 days ago. Some of them more recently. We had one or two that hatched this morning. And these are all hatched from eggs that, one over there, eggs from our own birds. There we go. And they're about the size of 50p pieces when they hatch. But they grow very rapidly, and these will be mature within 2 months. Well, it's after 10 o'clock now, and I've come over to do the lockup, which I do every evening, and that's Pinky there, there's Georgina, and there is Geraldine, and still no babies. Anyhow. So here we are back in the kitchen. Well, that's it for May 2016. Hopefully by the time we've made the next edition we'll have a few baby goats. So join us then.